Hello, LTV viewers and friends. You're watching the July 11th, 2025 edition of East End News on LTV. This is your community and your news. I'm Christine Sampson. Now that President Donald Trump has signed what is being called the, quote, one big beautiful bill, many policy experts and organizations are attempting to sort out how it will impact the American people. Governor Kathy Hochul has warned that cuts to the SNAP program, commonly called food stamps, will mean as many as 3 million people in New York State will lose food-related help. On the East End alone, she said in a press release, it could impact about 48,000 people. The announcement of the bill's passage and signing came on the heels of a critical fundraiser for the Springs Food Pantry, just one of the local organizations that will feel the impact. East End News correspondent Dara Berger has more on this story.
Luckily, the rain stopped just in time for some very important festivities.
Today we're having a fundraiser for the Springs Food Pantry. It's our largest fundraising event of the year, and we've got this venue from two gentlemen who they opened up their hearts and offered it to us, and we jumped on it.
Besides a beautiful landscape for the party, there was plenty of cheer and appetizing fare, along with many auction items donated by many local prominent businesses.
We figured that 33% of Springs live under the poverty level, and about 30% of them were feeding.
You know, parents have to make choices, and it's horrible. Nobody should have to make the choice that they don't have food to put on the table. And so that's why the food pantry is here to help out.
In a letter to congressional leaders, Governor Kathy Hochul has urged them to reject this bill that would cut federal funding for SNAP benefits and force each individual state to find the funds or let residents go without food. The bill they are calling One Big Beautiful Bill was just signed by the president on the July 4th holiday. Nobody knows how the fallout may affect the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, commonly referred to as the SNAP program.
We give them enough for 3 meals a day for about 3.5 to 4 days, depending upon when the distribution is. So there's another 3 days in that week that have to be filled.
That is the reason Wheaton says the SNAP benefits are so important to cover food costs for the rest of the week. The Springs Food Pantry also provides a summer lunch program for kids in the Springs. For those who couldn't make the benefit, you can go to their website, springsfoodpantry.com.
There's a donate button. It's very easy, and they can donate on a recurring basis. No amount is too small. No amount is too large.
Dara Berger reporting in Amagansett for LTV East End News.
The Montauk community is heralding a new business in town that fills a critical need, a pharmacy where they can access their medications and other healthcare products. The East End News crew stopped by the brand new Montauk Chemist's shop to check it out. Let's take a look.
The long wait is over. Montauk once again has a pharmacy. The brand new Montauk Chemists officially began filling prescriptions on Monday, June 30th. This ended the hamlet's 10-month stretch without a local pharmacy after White's Drug and Department Store closed last fall. Messages of support, excitement, and gratitude poured in from local residents, many of whom are excited they no longer have to travel all the way to East Hampton for their medications. The owner and pharmacist behind the counter is a familiar face in Montauk. It's Frank Calvo, who worked at White's for 13 years.
We are, like I said, a full-service pharmacy, everything from prescriptions, over-the-counter medications, vitamin lines, and self-care items, which are all in the front end of the store.
Montauk Chemists is located at 725A Montauk Highway, right in the center of town, open 6 days each week until 7 p.m. and Sundays from 10 to 2. In addition to filling and delivering prescriptions, it will soon also offer vaccinations, and there will be a nutritionist and homeopathic provider on site for consultations at regular intervals.
I started the process of finding a space in Montauk to fit a pharmacy, which was the biggest challenge of them all. Back in July of last year, of 2024, I found this space. It was occupied until Labor Day. After Labor Day of 2024, I took the space, started paying rent and insurance on the space, but however, doing the build out, dealing with contractors and having the build out made, I dealt with COVID being still blamed for delays of countertops, being blamed for delays of computer equipment, phone equipment, things like this, and then dealing with the everyday obstacles in regards to dealing with the state government of opening up a pharmacy, the federal government in opening up a pharmacy, licensure. So yeah, there were delays that were going on, and people move at their going rate. So a day for me was really 2 weeks for somebody else. And that turned out to be a whole year process in getting this store open.
Calvo overcame quite a few obstacles as he sought to open his new business. Buoyed by the support of the community, Calvo persevered in his efforts, and the result is improved access to health care for the easternmost tip of East Hampton town.
I mean, it's been great. I opened as a store a little over 3 weeks or so ago, just for front-end merchandise. So the colognes and the soaps and the house goods and things like that have been really going very well. Yesterday we opened up as a full-service pharmacy, and yes, it's been a banner day. I mean, yesterday and today. It's just noontime on Tuesday, my second day, and we're already booking over here. So I mean, it's a very positive thing.
Christine Sampson reporting in Montauk for East End News on LTV.
Also in Montauk, the artistic community and Artists Alliance are attempting to bounce back from the alleged DWI crash that destroyed thousands of dollars in artwork and handmade goods on the village green. Videos of the damage, like this one, caused a stir on social media. The crash occurred on Sunday, July 29th, shortly after 3 o'clock in the morning. A 23-year-old Farmingville woman is facing 1 count of drunken driving and 6 charges of criminal mischief involving property damage greater than $250, all misdemeanors. Police say she plowed through a guardrail at the Montauk Village Green, struck a parked car, and crashed through numerous tents. 2 security guards narrowly avoided getting hit by the fast-moving vehicle. She was released on her own recognizance by Justice Stephen Tukulski in East Hampton Justice Court. Meanwhile, the total damage has been estimated at over $150,000. To help the artists recover, the Montauk Artists Association has set up a GoFundMe campaign that has raised about $22,000 so far. New charges have been handed down in the case of the 18-year-old man accused of drunken driving in a crash that killed an East Hampton High School student. According to 27east.com reporter T.E. McMorrow, Luis Barrianueva Fuentes is now charged with 8 felonies, including aggravated vehicular homicide, which carries up to 25 years in prison if convicted on this charge. Acting Justice Stephen A. Paluski set bail at $500,000. The defendant's attorney said the family will be unable to post bail, so Fuertes remains in custody. 27 East reported that Fuertes was allegedly driving just under 75 miles per hour on a curved section of Old Stone Highway on the evening of June 15th. 27east.com has the full details on this developing story. The Ponquag Bridge in Hampton Bays is once again under scrutiny following a brief closure months ago when safety issues were first discovered. Suffolk County officials announced this week the bridge will undergo a 2-week inspection period starting on July 14th. This is so the Public Works Department can perform an in-depth review of existing bridge conditions. During these 2 weeks, only 1 lane will be open to travelers to accommodate traffic in both directions. The county advises drivers to leave extra time to get to their destinations. Anthony Drexel Duke's legacy lives on in East Hampton Town. On July 7th, the town officially dedicated the Tony Duke Memorial Multi-User Path at Boys and Girls Harbor Park, located off of Springy Banks Road in East Hampton. Tony Duke was instrumental in creating local outdoor recreational and educational spaces for children, opening Boys Harbor Camp in 1937 and later expanding it to include girls as well. He died in 2014 at the age of 95. The town and county now jointly own and manage the 57-acre park where the path has been established. It's part of a larger regional network of trails for walking, hiking, nature studies, and non-motorized bicycling. The park also preserves woodland and wetland habitat for wildlife. In a statement, East Hampton Town said that Duke's legacy of leadership and philanthropy, quote, has impacted tens of thousands of lives, and the new path will ensure that his spirit of community and access to nature continues for years to come. Many residents have been wondering why the construction at a major intersection hasn't been completed yet. Some have even taken to the app next door to ask us to find out. East End News correspondent Dara Berger has some answers.
The intersection on the State Road 114 and Stephen Hand's Path has been getting a makeover, and residents have been wondering when the renovations will be completed.
The traffic count on that road there's an average annual daily traffic count on Route 114 there, which is about 10,000 cars per day. And then on Stephen Hand's Path, it's about 5,000 cars per day. The traffic has increased.
Schiavone says the plan is to widen the road on 114 so they can put in left turn lanes with a left turn signal, and then Stephen Hand's Path going south will have a right turn lane. The intersection will also be made safer for both pedestrians and bicyclists to pass through.
The survey that we had didn't correspond with the topography, and the area needed to be resurveyed. We need to get the drainage right there. That coincides with a town water quality project, so the drainage on that intersection needed to be correct.
So even though having to do the survey over has caused a delay, Schiavone said that he'd rather have the project done right. The Department of Transportation goal is to have the work completed by the end of the summer schedule, which for them is around the third week of September.
I personally know people who have been in bad accidents on that corner historically, and so we're going to have a safer intersection for traffic, pedestrians, and bicyclists to pass through.
Dara Berger reporting in East Hampton for LTV East End News.
New York State is now requiring boaters to obtain and carry on board a new type of document that some are likening to a driver's license for boating. According to Michael Wright of 27east.com, new rules that went into effect this year are mandating that everyone with a motorized vessel needs to take a safety certification course. These courses don't address skills such as driving a motorboat or sailing techniques. Rather, they focus on knowledge of seafaring rules such as rights of way, head-on approaches, or overtaking a slower boat. Safety courses are being offered by the Coast Guard Auxiliary, the New York State Department of Parks and Recreation, and the group Boating American, among others. They range in price from free to $100, depending on the organization. Technically speaking, according to 27 East, boaters without the safety document on board could get a ticket. But since it's a brand new requirement, it's more likely that first-time offenders will instead get a warning and a list of places offering classes. If you've stopped by the Great Lawn in West Hampton Beach lately, you've probably already noticed a new feature there, the historic John Adams Dix Windmill. Officials from Southampton Town, West Hampton Beach, and other municipalities were on hand on July 2nd to cut the ribbon on the newly relocated and fully restored windmill. The town and village tapped the Community Preservation Fund to accomplish this restoration in recent months. Built in 1870, the windmill is even fully operational once again, serving as a water pump. In addition to being a historic resource, the windmill honors the legacy of John Adams Dix, who was the 24th governor of New York State and had familial ties to the East End. Those interested in seeing the landmark can visit at 2035 East Main Street in West Hampton Beach. Not only are the Cherry Bombs the latest band to take the South Fork by storm, but they are also a contender in America's Next Top Hitmaker competition. This 1980s tribute act started out as a fantasy rock band at the Stephen Talkhouse in 2019 during a fundraiser for the Neo-Political Cowgirls. Since then, the female-forward group has evolved into a serious act touring the New York area. They continue to skyrocket in popularity as quarterfinalists in the Next Top Hitmaker competition. To reach the top, they'll need every vote they can get from their hometown East End communities. It's free to cast a ballot once per day, This can be done by going to thetop-hitmaker.org and searching for the cherry bombs. Voting ends on Thursday, July 17th. And if you haven't seen them performing live yet, you can catch them on August 23rd at the Delancey in New York City or August 26th at Main Beach right here in East Hampton. And speaking of fun times, we go now to our community calendar to find out what's happening around town.
For those who appreciate good design, both modern and vintage, the East Hampton Historical Society presents its annual Antiques and Design Show on Saturday, July 12th and Sunday, July 13th, starting at 10 a.m. both days. The website easthamptonhistory.org has the full rundown of details. Next week, it's young filmmakers' turn to shine with a screening of the short films they produced during their Hamptons Film Camp program this summer. The screening happens Tuesday, July 15th from 5 to 6 p.m. at the East Hampton Library. It's free to attend. It's Comedy Night in Montauk on Wednesday, July 16th, when Aragona's Comedy presents a night of laughs at Talk at Trails End Restaurant. Dinner's at 7:30 with showtime at 9 p.m. The ticket price includes dinner and a drink. Full details can be found at visitmontauk.org. For lovers of music and art, LTV Studios hosts a not-to-be-missed night of classical piano combined with real-time fine art creation on Friday, July 18th. Doors open at 7 and showtime is at 7:30. VIP table seating is available, and tickets can be found at ltveh.org. Finally, on Saturday, July 19th, Stony Brook Southampton Hospital hosts a day to focus on health. The Summer of Wellness event features healthy activities including yoga, Pilates, pickleball, cardio bar, and more, starting at 8 a.m. Admission prices vary to the individual events, but they can all be found at the Southampton Hospital Foundation website.
If you're like us here at LTV, you've probably spent more time sitting in traffic so far this summer than you did all winter long. For this week's Inside the Archive segment, East End News contributor Lisbeth Leon unearthed a 25-year-old recording of local folks sharing traffic-related ideas. Let's take a look.
Inside the Archive is our weekly look back in time, thanks to the East Hampton Library's digital Long Island collection. Summer is a busy time for the East End, with plenty of visitors coming in from all over to visit and enjoy our beautiful towns and beaches. With this comes the season's traffic, which can get alarmingly hectic and almost impossible to avoid. In a segment from 2000 titled, How to Control Traffic in East Hampton, locals and visitors share their ideas on how traffic should be controlled during the summer season.
Traffic signs, more code enforcement, because people have been driving bad, real bad. It's like a lot of accidents happen.
Encourage people that during certain times of the day, unless it's absolutely necessary, to stay away from the main town streets, and encourage people to use alternative routes, perhaps providing more maps and areas that would allow more through traffic to divert traffic from the main streets.
I think it's inevitable that Route 27 needs to be widened to accommodate all the traffic that seems to be increasing through the years.
And we need to make it more bike-friendly, more bike racks. Transit to the trains and the buses. There's no public transportation. That's one of the problems.
Sometimes pedestrians linger and wait in the middle of the street, and that will back up traffic. Possibly some sort of a signal device for pedestrians to use the crosswalk rapidly.
While some of the suggested ideas have been put into use throughout the years, the East End's traffic continues to be a growing concern.
I don't know what to do about it except to get the New York Times to stop running articles about it.
For East End News, I'm Lisbeth Leon.
Thank you for watching this week's episode of East End News on LTV, delivering the news you need through the power of public access television. I'm Christine Sampson. We'll see you next week.